Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I am taking a look at Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Earthrise Leader Class Doubledealer. And we have Doubledealer in front of us in his missile carrier vehicle mode. It looks pretty sweet. It rolls real nice. If you can see the casters, this third caster back here from the front doesn't roll along with everything else all the time, but overall it feels very nice. He's looking very much reminiscent of G1 Doubledealer. This was, I think, a later 80s toy figure. I don't remember the exact time period, but it was like, this was during Master Force or Breast Force or one of those time periods in like 86, 87 maybe? Maybe later than that, maybe like 80, 88 or something. But yeah, he's got all sorts of cool paintwork. I really like the teal. I like his plastic color. That green, dark green plastic looks great. The gray, the yellow, the red, and the blue highlights on it pick out very nicely. Even the gray plastic, like if you look at his missile, sometimes the shade of gray plastic they pick out makes these details really mush together, but that's not the case here. Just a little bit of purple on him. So yeah, he's very colorful. He is one of those Master Force era G1 figures, and he looks awesome. I mean, he's good and big. I know there were some complaints previously about leader class figures in Siege, which I didn't share those complaints. I like the armor up aspect, but now we have Doubledealer here. You know, compare him to Siege, Shockwave in vehicle mode. We'll compare him in bot mode a little bit also. But you can see, like, he's more compact, but he's also thicker and bigger and weightier. And Shockwave has armor pieces that I really like to play with. Doubledealer, basically everything is integrated into his bot mode. He just has a couple different accessories here and there that you can pull off and put on in different ways. So then we can move into Doubledealer's deployed missile mode. So you can bring down these two, I guess you'd call them like grounding pylons. Oh, his platform, and you'll see later his tail feather, is airlock compatible if you care about that. I have found that my enthusiasm for the airlock system has really kind of gone downhill, so it's not a super important feature to me anymore. We can bring down his missile, deploy it like that. We do get his head peeking out, so if you want to keep the missile elevated just a little bit or redeploy at a lower peg position, that might not actually let us. So that's unfortunate. This shortened peg here has difficulty getting around the pieces needed to peg in. So if we want the missile kind of covering up his face, we got to keep the missile elevated, which I guess missiles normally don't rest on the ground anyway. But yeah, so you know, he's a missile carrier as one of his vehicle modes. In addition to his infamous faction change ability, he does have a second alt mode, so we're going to get to that next. We're going to take off the missile piece. We are going to unplug right here this mounting piece. Set that aside. We'll get the weapons off. If it'll... There we go. 1, 2. He's got missiles on the sides here. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, because I've been looking around at a couple other videos, so I do have Doubledealer's cassettes and, you know, traditionally his powermasters. I have those. I normally just stick them on the sides of his vehicle mode. They don't, you know, come with him, but I figure like this is fine enough storage. I know you can stick one inside his cassette, but I kind of like him to be more symmetrical than asymmetrical. So for my taste, I prefer to stick the cassettes right there. But we're gonna leave these aside also. Okay, so now to get him into his second vehicle mode, we're gonna take his arms and first get them kind of out of the way. We'll extend out this piece right here. We're gonna come in on the front of the vehicle. We're gonna unpeg this center piece, his kind of chest plate that'll come up later. We aren't going to put it back where it traditionally is. We're gonna flip him around, and we are going to unpeg the rear wheel sections. They have a hinge here that they can rotate on. We're going to rotate them out to give him some clearance. Because the first thing we're going to do with Doubledealer is compress the front of his vehicle mode. You notice this gap here. We can actually come in on the back. He's got his knee hinges here for transformation. We basically compress things down so that we have tabs that sit right here that go into these slots. If we can get the camera out. If we can get the tabs into the slots on the sides here by compressing things down. And I think I got, oh, the wings are just a bit in the way. We can pop those wings out. There we go. So now with these wheels out of the way, these panels have enough room to slide forward, and everything can click into place pretty nicely. Almost. This part, I was super worried about doing it on camera. I practiced this particular transformation a bunch off camera because I've been struggling with it. Ah, there it is. There's the click into the hip sockets. Can I get those pegs in on the sides now? Possibly not. We'll come back to that real quick. I wonder if I need to get some other things out of the way first. We're going to flip him back around 180. We're going to take this chest piece, bring it back down. It's not going to sit where it did before in these two tabs here. Now we're going to flip up this section, flip the chest 180, sit it down, and this little, I don't know what it was originally, a cockpit I guess, is going to curl up over it to hold it in place. Now that that is out of the way, we can bring these arms forward. His robot mode arms forward, and that hopefully gives us the clearance we need on the sides to get these side panels tabbed in, which, there it is. Good snap there. So now that that's done on the sides, we can bring down his bird feet on each side. We can come in underneath. Or I guess now it's on top because he's going to be standing in this position. We can pull up this purple panel, pull out his head, extend that head. It's on a double hinge here. Give him his little bird head, tuck away his robot mode head, and close that sucker back up. His wings can extend out. Now that we have, this is basically his bird form all done. I've got just a couple things loose on mine. And that is one thing I'll especially talk about in bot mode, is that a little bit of the form and finish compared to the way Siege stuff connects together seems to be missing for Doubledealer. There we go. So we're going to pull this panel down all the way and it'll click in, and then these arms can go in. It seems like maybe the steps weren't ordered 100% the way they should have been, and that might be just my inability to follow instructions and remember them. Who knows? So now we're going to come in on his missile piece. This long piece will connect to this hole right here on the tail feathers. And then we have a black clip here that clips onto the narrow section of his bird butt, like so. And when that clips properly, the two tabs here seat themselves against these wheel wells, and everything seems just fine. And yeah, so now we've got, this weird looking bird, which is, weird, but also very much Doubledealer. We can take his accessories again, post them. We didn't really have to take them off, I guess. I just prefer to have them off and not like falling around as I'm transforming stuff. Post everything up. There we go. And yeah, we've got Doubledealer's weird avian bird mode. Again, this is one of those this is one of those G1 vehicle / beast modes that wasn't really a disguise so much as it was some terrifying monster menace going around terrorizing citizens. It has decent articulation. I mean, The legs, you can get the legs up if he's like flying and you want the talons kind of held forward like a bird claw. They can go back that far. His head can go down, it can go up, it breaks a little bit. You can kind of get it bobbing in different ways. The beak moves just fine. Those wings, this is my favorite joint on the figure, is this main wing joint. Listen to this. Oh, that's just nice. The wings can fold away, obviously due to transformation. You get a little bit of flex out of the tips of the wings, which is nice. Yeah, it's, you know, this feels like one of those things where it's there because the G1 toy had it. To me, I don't think it adds a ton of value because I'm never going to use this mode. It looks weird. But I recognize why it's important. Doubledealer wouldn't be Doubledealer without this mode. And it's goofy fun in the same way that it was on the original toy. Okay, now that we're done with talking about that, we're going to get him into robot mode. We're probably going to need to pop this camera up just a little bit. Pull the missile off. Pull his accessories off again, which are weird. Here's like a Paralyzo box, I guess, from the card game. Here's a gun. Fold these pieces back. We can pull off the 2 missile packs back here. Okay, so we can open up the back, fold that bird head away again. You do need to make sure you compress it back down on the double joint and turn it sideways to get it folded away nicely. Close that up. You can bring around that hinge. Now we can unhinge the back half of the cockpit of the missile mode, bring out that chest piece, because we are going to untab these panels from the sides, and now we're going to extend everything out and away from the body. We can split the legs, and this is my biggest complaint about the figure, is going to be talking about these legs, but we'll get there when we're all done transforming. Bring the leg up, flip that shin piece 180. Then this panel here has 2 hinges it rotates on. It'll close towards the wheels and then close back. Same thing on the other side. We can fold these 90 degrees. Come in on his APC mode, or his APC wheels, bird legs. Those pieces, fold those in. Everything collapses back the other way. So the transformation is pretty straightforward. We can unfold his arms, come in with those fists, and then fold away those bird wings. And here is the base robot mode for Doubledealer. Actually, we didn't even come up as high as I thought we did. There we go. Yeah, here is Doubledealer's base mode. Or not base, but basic robot mode. And then you can attach on these pieces however you see fit. I think traditionally it's one over here, one over here. These missile packs go on his sides of his legs, on each side. We take his big missile, break that apart, take the top piece, it goes right here. He can hold the bottom piece as a gun. And then this tail, we can extend that out, and it has 2 clips on this side that'll clip in to these 2 slots up here. And then you can fold the tail down. And yeah, if you notice, my Doubledealer seems to be wobbly, and I have watched other videos, and it seemed like not everyone's was this way, but others were. I mean, if we move him a little bit like that, that's not, I'm not doing anything, I'm just kind of leaning him back. His knees are not very firm. We can hold him like this. Like those legs, those hips and those knees are not very firm, which ties back to that fit and finish thing that I was talking about. The transformation is a little messy, and then he just does not seem to want to stand up and do any super dynamic poses without starting to collapse. Overall, I mean, for size and playability, like the transformation's pretty fun. It's not crazy complicated. but it is in depth enough that I'm aware the whole time and I'm noticing it. He does compare, if we take a Titan's Return style leader, you know, he's still not as big as the old leader class, but without any upgrades, he does compete with the upgraded siege leaders, like, you know, when they're all armored up. So it feels about right for the price point as it exists today. There's some hollowness, and normally I don't complain about hollowness, but because I think the way the joints work, I notice it more here. In terms of articulation, I mean, he's got so much crap on him, but like his head, which by the way is a lovely head sculpt. I do really like that head. The head can go 360, no problem. The arms can go 360, the arms can go out 90. They're double jointed, which is appreciated. The wrist does have a swivel, which I like. There is a hip joint here. The hips, or a waist joint, the hips can do a full Van Damme, even if they're loose. The knees don't go quite 90 degrees, and because he is a War for Cybertron figure, he does have ankle tilt, which I appreciate all that posability, but functionally for my figure, and I might see about trying to swap him out with a different one, for my figure, that functionality doesn't amount to a whole lot just because of how loose he ends up being. If he's not kind of in a knee-locked position or a carefully balanced position, he'll end up flopping forward or backwards. But, I mean, he does look really nice. I think, especially comparing him with, like, other Master Force type figures, like here is Darkwing and Dreadwind. So, like, that color scheme looks really great. I like how they look together. The other thing he can do that is, you know, one of his main features. He's got kind of two main selling points, I guess, that people identify him as Doubledealer. One is the missile and the bird mode. The other is that if you don't want your Doubledealer to be an Autobot, you can absolutely fold down panels so he can switch sides and reveal his true colors as a Decepticon dickhead, which I think is great. I kind of wish that there was another panel you could flip down, because when I first saw Doubledealer, I swore I saw him in Mercenary packaging when he was first announced, and I was excited to see him as a Mercenary figure. So I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't have the Mercenary symbol like Exhaust does. But he does fit in great with my set of traitorous characters. We've got Sideways, and we've got Punch, Counter Punch, and Exhaust. So I kind of like these guys as a group of faction-changing villains or good guys, depending on how you look at them. I dig that a lot. Yeah, overall, I think that's everything on Oh, no, it's not everything on Doubledealer. I've got these guys in the back. The very last thing, if you did get the cassettes, he does mimic the style of his cassettes in his molding on his chest, but what you can do is you can come in, if you want to unplug it, flip his chest around 180, and then plug in a cassette and pull, before you plug it in, you should probably pull that peg out. There we go. Plug in a cassette and then plug in the piece from his torso above it if you want, and now he's got like his traditional Powermaster. There's not, as far as I know, there's not two places to store these things. The other cassette can just go in the back. You can peg right back there. And yeah, there's Doubledealer. I mean, I think he looks pretty good. I'm unhappy with his floppiness, but I feel like that's an issue just with my copy, and I'm gonna see if I can rectify that. I'd still, for $50, I think I'd still recommend him. Just see if your store has two copies, just in case you get a floppy one, you can swap them out easily. So, that's Doubledealer. That's a quick look at him. Not so quick, I realize this is closer to 20 minutes, but I appreciate you guys spending the time with me, and I appreciate all the love for my Extra Life campaign. As of me posting this, I'm super close to my $2,000 goal. I think I'm going to push that goal out further because I'm trying to raise money through November 7th. So thanks for all the support. Check out my Extra Life page if you want to win more Transformers prizes, and have a great day, everyone. See ya!